You don't start things and not finish them. You don't quit. There's nothing that comes out of quitting besides knowing that you didn't finish. We finish everything. You start it, finish it. If you're going to do it to try to be the best. Not to be better than other people, but to be the best for you. You grind hard so you can play hard. The work you put in will pay off. It could be a year, it could be 30 years, but you keep grinding. Welcome to Big Reptile Talk.
Man, I'm super excited. Welcome to the podcast, man. This is Big Reptile Talk. Before we get started, of course, shout out to the people that show me love. Ozzy, Redline Science, the Reptile Report, Venom Proof Cages, and now Boss to You, man. This shit is insane. So much love to those people. Of course, shout out to the channel members that allow me to chase my dream of being a reptile interviewer. I love just talking to people and seeing what they're up to. We got a couple channel members here. So much love to all y'all, man. I love all you guys. Today, I'm super excited. This is round two with a legend, man. So we're going to bring him in and just pick his brain. How you doing today, sir?
Hey, what's up? How you doing? What's up, everybody?
I'm not doing bad, but before we start, I'm going to tell you something. I didn't see you in person, but I seen you the other day, and the green-eyed monster showed his face. I got envious, and I'm going to tell you why. So, and I'm gonna tell you something. I'm gonna tell you why. So, and the envy came in three stages. It came in anger, grief, and happiness. And I'm gonna tell you why. Okay. Now just go with me. Go with me before we start this. Go with me. So I'm scrolling my Instagram feed. I'm scrolling. Bam! I stopped on Rude Dog Reptiles. And so I watch. You already know where I'm going with this.
Yeah. I love Rudy. Yeah, Rudy was traveling on the East Coast, so yeah, definitely.
So I'm scrolling. Bam! I stop on Rude Dog Reptiles, and I watch his story. And he's standing he's standing next to you, and I instantly I got envious. I was like, first the anger came. I was like, I'm at work. I said, I'm at work and he's hanging out with Ozzy. Man, this is bullshit. And then the grief came. I start a little tear. I said, man, I'm at work and I wish I could be with Ozzy doing the walkthrough. And then the happiness came. I said, you know what? Go ahead, Rudy. The hobby needs this. Go on and drop that walkthrough, man.
Yeah, no doubt, man. You gotta come out to DC, come hang out. We'll show you a good time and show you around. So it's all good, man.
Man, so let's jump into it, man. I want to talk about your season, man. The stuff that you produce is insane. So I want you to tell me, and this was for inspiration, how happy were you with your 2021 season?
Oh, I was very happy. I mean, 2021 was a great season. And again, it's every season, man. I mean, reptile breeder's life is a happy life. There's always something to look forward to. And as long as my animals are happy and my animals are doing good, I'm happy, man. So yeah, it was a great season.
Hey, that's all that matters, man. Happy animals. That's it, man. That's all that matters.
Right.
Now,
yep.
You are at the top, man. And I say that to lead into the next question, man. I want you to talk about 2022, and I want you to give us the knowledge. What do you think the wave is going to be for 2022? And I mean, like project-wise, what should people be into in 2022? What's going to be the wave?
Well, I think where we're headed is you're going to see a lot of triple recessives hitting the ground. I mean, you already started seeing some of them hit the ground. Like I was telling Rudy, that those triple recessives are it's like mining for Bitcoin. They're really, really hard to make, but when you make one, it's a big payday. And I mean, not even monetarily, but just to accomplish that and hit these animals that are so difficult to make. So, and Justin, shout out to Justin. I mean, that a Xanthic desert ghost clown that he just hatched. I mean, I'm in love with that thing, and that just gets me pumped, gets me inspired. But yeah, I think triple recessives and maybe even a quad recessive here or there with a little, with a few codom, little seasoning in the mix. So I think that's what 2022 is going to be all about.
I love it, man. That's what it's about, man. Just getting that knowledge, man. Thank you. Now, I like to have fun, man. So I want to throw a hot seat question in there.
Damn, right out the gate.
Yeah, I got them mixed in through the show, to make you think. Now, the first hot seat question is: I'm a movie producer, and I'm making that movie, the breeding god, the breeding legend, and it's a movie about Ozzy. Who am I casting? Anybody in the world who's gonna play Ozzy in my new movie?
I don't know, man. Vin Diesel or The Rock.
Dude, you kind of do look like The Rock. That would be a good movie. The Rock, the ball python legend.
I don't know. LL Cool J, maybe. We both have big heads.
I'm dying. I'm weak, man. I love it, man. I love it, man. Now, the basis of my podcast, man, I want people to be able to come here, get a little bit of knowledge, and have fun. So, give us that knowledge. And this is for new breeders. When do you think a good start date and a good end date is for your season? Is there days where you start and end?
Well, it would depend on what region you're in. Guys down in Florida, I think they tend to breed year round. For me, on the East Coast, it's usually around September, October that the animals really, really kick in. I've started as early as August, but I don't think it like made my season go any earlier. So yeah, I would say September, and usually I breed for about 6 months. I'm 6 months breeding, 6 months off. So that's how I do it. And I have phases with my females, phase 1, phase 2, phase 3, where the females that took the year off the year prior, or the females that laid early, like late in March, February, those are the females that I breed first. And then I go to the next phase, animals that laid like in April, May, June, and I start breeding them sometime like in November. And then my third phase is somewhere in January. That's usually when I start breeding the 18-month-old females, and then the females that like to lay late. Typically, if a female laid in August the previous year, I really won't start breeding her until like February.
Okay.
So get a few copulations, and you don't need a lot of copulations. I don't have an ultrasound, and if you have an ultrasound, you can really, really dial it in. But I usually just shoot for 3 copulations per female, and I try to spread it out, a few weeks to a month apart.
I love that you said that you don't have an ultrasound. So you old school. You go in there, you palpate, you know exactly how many eggs there, and you're good. Ain't no reason to ultrasound.
I mean, ultrasound, and so my boy Brian, he came over the other day with his ultrasound, and we took some measurements, checking follicles, and he's gonna come back. He was supposed to come back yesterday, but I had to postpone it. So he's gonna come back, and so we're playing around with the ultrasound stuff. But yeah, man, I'm kind of old school, so I just do what works for me, and I don't really try to reinvent the wheel.
Right. That makes sense, man. Now I'm gonna put myself on solo because I want to show my watch. Now I'm I don't know if you can see that, but this is the Death Star, and then on this side I got Darth Vader. So I say that to say that, I say that to say I actually know you took myself out. I say that to say that, I'm a huge Star Wars fan, and I don't know if did you watch Star Wars?
Oh yeah, my kids love Star Wars, so.
And yeah. I'm leading into the question to say that, Yoda taught Luke the Force, right? He taught him the Force. So I want to know, who was your Yoda, that taught you the way of the ball python? Who was that one guy that was like, come on, Ozzy, let me show you this. Let me teach you the way of the Force?
I would say there was a few guys, and some of them directly helped me out and mentored me, but then there were other guys who were just online sharing information, like Ralph Davis and his forum. Definitely learned a lot from those guys, just watching those guys on the internet. Uh, Dan and Colette Sutherland from the Snake Keeper. They put out videos and stuff. But the one guy that I would say mentored me, like just hands-on, giving me advice and experience, would be Ian from Outback Reptiles, and also Phil Busher. Like Phil Busher is probably one of the old school guy. Used to work for Ralph Davis. Used to work for Brian Sharp back in the day, and he was one of the first guys to start breeding ball pythons over at Brian Sharp's. So really good guy. Just, he used to just come over and help me out. He showed me how to palpate. I remember him coming over to my house, showing me how to palpate my females. So there were a few guys, but those guys definitely, shout out to them. I didn't learn a lot from them, either directly or indirectly, just watching their content online or on DVDs. Remember those DVDs and CDs?
Man, times have changed, man. Now, shout out to all them people, but especially Ralph Davis. I've seen him a couple messages, and I'm not even gonna lie, I'd probably go to jail, but if I knew who he was, he would wake up with a microphone in his face like this.
So Ralph, I heard Ralph Davis was at Tinley walking around, and
that's big.
people didn't even know who he was. It was crazy.
That's big.
So,
if I knew where he was, he'd wake up with a microphone in his head like this.
Yeah, I heard he was walking around the last Tinley show. But yeah, Ralph is still there, man. He's I don't know that he's breeding his animals, but I know he's got animals. But yeah, Ralph's always a great interview if you could get him.
I'm working on it. I'm trying. Yeah. I got him. He's added me on Facebook, and we've been talking. But
good.
Eventually, he's gonna get that microphone on his forehead like this if he don't get back, But anyways, man, I want to get back to the knowledge, man. Now, a lot of people think that you're just going to, jump into the hobby, throw some snakes together, and that's it. I want you to, talk about breeding problems that you encounter, and inspire the new breeders to, to where they don't get discouraged if they come across these problems. Like, you have reabsorption, you have females that just won't breed, you have egg-bound females. What are some of the problems that you have seen? And talk to us as far as inspire the new breeders to say, don't get discouraged. You know what I mean? Because it happens to us all.
Yeah, it's I think that's the difference between people who have success in the game and people who don't, is just keeping that passion alive and not getting discouraged. But yeah, I've been through it all, man. I've had all kinds of males dying, egg-bound females not breeding, males not breeding. I mean, that happens every year. I mean, the best thing you could do is just prepare for whatever occurs. But you got to be patient. You got to be patient and, just map out your goals, your breeding plan, and stick to it.
Right. That makes sense, man. Now, and that's the key, man. Just if you do come across problems, don't get discouraged. It happens to everybody in the hobby, right? Now,
get back up. Yeah, the difference is going to be, those who get back up and those who are patient. That's who's going to win in this game. And in any game, I mean, most things are like that. As they say, wealth transfers from the impatient to the patient.
I love that, man. And you know what? That reminds me of something that this was so inspiring. Like when I was watching your Instagram story today, what you just said, your Instagram, so you had it was like you posted like a little clip that I want you to talk about. It was like, don't do what I did. I could have been farther than where I am now. Do better than I did. I love that clip, man. What was that clip?
Yeah, that was Brandon Turner, host of the Bigger Pocket Real Estate Podcast, and I started listening to him in 2016, and I know, I kind of watched his progress. He used to have like a couple of single family houses and a couple of duplexes, and he was in his comfort zone, and that's what he was saying. Now he's got he runs a company called Open Door Capital, and I actually invested with him. But he does these mobile home park funds, and they'll raise $30 million to go out and buy mobile home parks. And the other day they raised $30 million in like 1 week. The fund was closed. So they opened it up to investors. Within a week, the fund was closed. So he's doing really, really big things now. And I remember him saying, he used to be on a podcast, and he used to share his like visions and his, long-term goals. And I remember him one time saying that in 5 years, me and my wife and our daughter, our plan is to move to Hawaii in 5 years. They were living in Washington State. A year later, dude was in Hawaii. And then I just kind of watched his real estate portfolio blow up, and then he started surrounding himself with a lot of big dogs, and he kind of talks about that. So he eventually made millionaire status. Then he joined GoBundance, and then when you get into GoBundance, now you're around like all of these guys. These guys are doing, these guys have 2,000 doors. They have these big 300 unit apartment complexes, et cetera. So that's what he's saying. For a long time, he was like in that comfort zone. And he just didn't have the confidence to say, I'm going to do this. Like, I'm going to start my own, investment fund. And now he's done that. And I think he's on like fund number 5 or something, or they're going to launch fund 5 soon. And yeah, man, he's doing great, killing it.
I love it, man.
So
it's inspiration.
I think he's not going to be on the podcast anymore. I think this week or this month will be his last podcast. He's going to focus on running his business, and he's doing some other things. But I just, I respect that guy because I kind of watched him grow, And at the same time, I was learning real estate, from that podcast, but also kind of got to know the dude and met him for the first time in New Orleans at the Bigger Pockets Real Estate Conference in October. So great dude, have a lot of respect for what he did. And that's why I shared that. Because I think there's a lot of people in the reptile community too who are may not have the confidence, but the guys that are doing well in this game, there's really nothing spectacular about us. I mean, we're just like you guys. We love reptiles. And I don't know, maybe it's just like a mindset thing. And a mindset is something you could shift. That's something you could manipulate, So you need to get your head right and, get your mind right. And then you could have as much success or even more, I think the future, some of these new guys coming up, I mean, I think they're going to take it way past, what me and Justin and some of these other guys are doing, sky's the limit.
I love it, man. Now, of course, everybody, you need to go support USARK. It's so incredible what they're doing. So please go support them. Now, I wanted to talk about them and go into the next hot seat question. Shout out to Feely. Shout out to High Desert Pythons, man. They had an incredible wrestling match. It raised money for USARK. It was awesome.
Oh, is that over?
Yes, it did. They did it.
Oh, they did it? I missed that, man.
Yeah. So they did it. And so you already know where I'm going with this question. So, shout out to Feely and High Desert Pythons. They raised money. They did it. Antoine.
That's who I was putting my money on, but yeah.
Now he is. He'll pop your head off.
Yeah.
And I say
too.
Exactly.
Yeah, right? Yeah. Yeah, that's what I was gonna put my money on.
Exactly. I would too. Now I say that to say this. If we was gonna get a round 2, who could we get Ozzy in the ring with? Anybody in the hobby? So, charity wrestling match.
I don't know, man. I don't know about that. I'm not a fighter. I'm more of a lover.
See, now this is where Mr. Ozzy, sir, this is where you throw the gauntlet down. Like, you're supposed to be like, Miguel can get that smoke. Or you supposed to be like, Kabelka can get that work.
Nah, you know what? I'll sponsor somebody. I'll get a fight. I'll get somebody to fight Miguel. How about that?
You know something? In my last podcast with Will from Royal Canadian Reptiles, I asked him the same question, and he said, "I challenge Miguel."
He's mad. He's mad. Miguel must have had something cool. Will ready to take it out on him now.
Right? And I told Will, I said, I'm gonna screen record this on my iPhone and tag Miguel on my Instagram. He was like, "Let's do it. Let's do it." I was like, I said, I can't wait, Miss something.
Yeah, I'm too old to be messing around with them dudes, man. They like bull riding and all that craziness. Yeah.
I love it, man. I love it, man. Shout out to Miguel and Philly and all them, man. Now, I want to thank you so much, Trish. I appreciate that. Thank you so much. I want to get back into the knowledge, man, because like I said, I want breeders to come here, and leave with something. So I want you to talk about, your business, with hatchlings. Before you send a hatchling out, what do you think is the appropriate amount of sheds and the appropriate amount of times it should be fed before you send it off?
I like to see a snake post shed feed at least 3 times consecutively. And that's usually enough if it's like a quick, overnight shipping. If they're going overseas, I like to get a few more meals in them. But typically that's been what we've been doing since I've been in the game. And like I used to get animals right out of the egg from certain breeders. And they did fine. Like the original Orange Dream, she was shipped from Africa right out of the egg. I mean, she still had like her umbilical scar when I got her. So yeah, I say 3 consecutive meals without refusing a meal, then I'm comfortable with shipping the snake.
Okay. Excellent knowledge, man. Excellent knowledge. That's what you're giving us, man. And I know it seems kind of trivial, but like I said, I want the new
No, I
breeders
mean,
to know how. I want y'all to know how. I want the new breeders to know how the bigger breeders are doing it, so they can follow in your footsteps. Now, I want you to talk now, because MorphMarket is so important. So this is kind of like a 2-part question. I want you to talk about the importance of being on MorphMarket. And the second part of the question is, do you think, with society, becoming like that fast food, or they want to push a button and just get stuff right to their door, do you think MorphMarket will ever eliminate reptile expos?
Wow. Yeah. Well, I think reptile expos are more of they're more of a like a social gathering. Like, like you can have a drink at home, but there's nothing like going to the bar. You know what I mean? Or going out for drinks. So I think the reptile expos just it's a completely different dynamic. Like people are not going to the reptile expo just to buy a snake, Um, and I think if you're new and you're starting out, I think it's really important to get out to the expos and meet people and network and build up your customer base, but also build up your connections for future acquisitions. You may meet a breeder, you know, um, and sometimes people just want to meet you, shake your hand, and be comfortable with you before they start sending you, $10,000 checks or wire transfers or whatever. So I think expos play a very, very important role in the industry, and but also MorphMarket is a game changer. Like thank God for John and MorphMarket. It's been, and I say this because I think MorphMarket is great for the smaller breeder. It levels out the playing field, I think, and it allows everybody to get into the market and sell their animals easily and display their animals easily on a professional platform. So I think MorphMarket is very, very important. And our industry is not like a typical industry where you have to outcompete everybody else. Because if you outcompete everybody else, eventually you're going to be the only person in the game. You're not going to have any customers. So this is a different type of business where everybody needs to do well. And when everybody is doing well, the industry as a whole is stronger. So yeah, kudos to MorphMarket. If you don't have a MorphMarket account, you need to get on there. I'm talking to my buddy Mark Mandic. You just interviewed Mark. I was encouraging him for a while to get on MorphMarket, and he got on there and he loves it. So again, if you're not on MorphMarket, you're crazy. You need to get on MorphMarket. It's a great platform. It makes life easy, and they got a lot of new things coming. So I think they're going to continue to innovate and help to strengthen the community. So
Right.
yeah.
Right. I ain't gonna lie. When I first seen MorphMarket come out, I said, oh shit, it's over for the Reptile Expo. I said, now I know it's not gonna
Yeah.
happen, but when I first seen it, I was like, oh, I said, MorphMarket is Netflix, and I said the Reptile Expo is Blockbuster.
Yeah, I don't know. I'd like to see the expos continue, to continue on, because I think they're important, especially like for product launches and stuff like that. But I'd like to see more of a focus on the business side, because there's a lot of guys who, they're killing it. They're making a lot of money. It's like, hitting the lotto. If you don't know what to do with that money, you're going to blow it. So I think we need a lot more financial education, business education, and people need to start taking this a little more serious, because some serious coin out there, make some serious money doing this. And so again, yeah, I'm putting out some content. I think some other breeders are starting to put out some content too, just around the business side, but there's a lot of information out there that people can seek on their own. But yeah, those are my thoughts.
Right. And I love that you say that you're putting out content, because you're doing the millionaire snake blog. You do so much stuff on your
Yeah.
YouTube, and you don't even charge. Like, a lot of people do Patreon, which is fine. Everybody want to make money, but you do it free. You put out your knowledge to anybody that wants it.
Yeah, that's just like my way of giving back to the industry. That's really been really, really good to me. I feel blessed. I feel lucky to be part of the community, and to be, in the hobby itself. And, it's all the customers and all the people out there that supported me over the years that got me to where I'm at. So I'm just trying to, the same way that some of the bigger breeders were putting out content and helping out guys like me get established, I'm trying to put out some content too. Try to help people out, encourage people, inspire them. And I know a lot of people, you ask a lot of guys, you'll be like, can you make $1 million? Can you become a millionaire breeding snakes? And they're like, hell no, So there's a lot of negativity out there, but I put that out there deliberately because I genuinely believe you can. And if you look at the numbers and you look at, the game plan that I'm putting out and the recommendations that I'm making, it's very realistic. And I'm not saying overnight, you're not going to become a millionaire overnight, but if you're smart, with your money and the profits, I mean, we can make a lot of money in this game. And if you're smart with it and you're, financially, literate, then you'll know what to do, and you could quickly hit that millionaire status. And it's funny because I'm not going to call out any breeders' names, but I talk to breeders all the time, and that are up and coming, et cetera. And I tell them, like, I ask them, have you ever filled out a net worth calculator? And they're like, nah, they never ever calculated their net worth. That shit is crazy. I think every kid that comes out of high school should have a net worth calculator filled out and start tracking their net worth. Because if they did that, then they'd be a lot more cognizant of, what they're doing with their money. But a couple of guys that did it, they were like, damn, I'm a millionaire. Like, they hit millionaire status. They didn't even know they were millionaires. They didn't even celebrate that milestone. I mean, and it's important to measure things like that and celebrate it, when you hit that mark, because it's going to pump you up, keep you motivated, keep you focused, and then you're going to focus on what matters. And before you know it, your net worth is doubling, tripling, and quadrupling. So yeah,
Right.
download, do a Google search, network calculator, just start calculating it. Pay attention. And there's a lot of people out there who are making, 200 grand a year and they have a negative net worth. But the minute that so a lot of people they don't even want to look at it because they don't want to think about it. But once you start looking at it and you start thinking about it, then you're going to start paying attention to it, and you're going to start taking the right steps to get your money right. And if you're breeding snakes and you're selling $10,000 snakes and $5,000 snakes, you're in a very unique position to create some long-term wealth. So you just need to be smart about it. Don't be like that lottery winner who wins, all those millions, but they don't have that financial literacy, and then 18 months later they're filing bankruptcy. They're worse off than they were before they hit the lotto. So a lot of athletes too, because they don't teach you this stuff in school, man. But the content is out there. It's easy to learn.
I love it, man. Y'all hear this is knowledge, man. Y'all better pay attention, man. I'm taking notes. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do the wealth calculator now.
Yeah, you should do it.
I am. Now I want you to, talk about, because there's a lot of new breeders that are here today, gone tomorrow. So I want you to let's point us into the right direction. And when I say that, what do you think what do you think is the number one reason new breeders don't make it? Could it be like they trying to get too many clutches, not getting the right projects, just don't have the passion? What do you think is one of the main reasons new breeders just don't make it?
So the key, what you said there was passion. Right. So you come into the game, you have a lot of passion for it. You have a lot of excitement for it. You can't get enough of it. You're looking at pictures, you're hitting websites, you're on MorphMarket, you just that's passion. That's passion. And what happens is people neglect that. They neglect that and they end up getting burned out. And once you lose that passion, then, it's tough to keep going. So that's one thing. Another thing is mindset. A lot of people have a scarcity mindset, and they're so focused on saving a couple of bucks. Everything they're doing is just trying to save a couple of bucks. And you shouldn't be focused on saving. You should be focused on making that money. And I've had guys who they'll have these two big females, and I'll have the perfect male for those two females, right? And let's say this male is $4,000, and they have these two big females, and they can make two $20,000 clutches with this male. But they're so hung up on trying to get me to come down on my price that they'll walk away from this $4,000 male because they want to pay $3,400 instead of $4,000. So they're so focused on trying to save $600 that they're leaving $40,000 on the table. And that's another killer. And that kills a lot of people in a lot of different, businesses. So that's how we're wired. So you really have to work on your mindset. You have to have an abundance mindset. You have to look at money. Don't cherish money. Let the money flow. Money is a tool. So, if you got a little money and you find that perfect animal, just pay the price, man. Stop trying to nickel and dime and save a few bucks because you're leaving thousands on the table.
I love it, man. I love it. It's just awesome knowledge, man. Now, I want to have a little fun. I got a hot seat question for you. Now, I don't know if you're a wrestling fan, but I'm a wrestling fan. And, we know when certain wrestlers come into that ring, where you hear that glass break and it's da-na, da-na, it's Stone Cold. When you hear, if you smell what the Rock, you know that's the Rock coming. Am I right? That's the Rock coming down the ring. So I say that to you, in my eyes, to a lot of people, you are a icon. So when you walk into a room, if you could have any song play, what would be your entrance song?
I don't know, man. Yeah, that's a tough one.
Who do you like listening to?
Probably like a Biggie song.
Yeah, that's what's up. That's why you a real one. It
was all a dream.
to read Word
Yeah.
Up magazines. Okay,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. So y'all hear that Ozzy walking into that Biggie? You better quit playing with Ozzy, man. I love it, man. You're a real one, man. Now, this is kind of normal, but I still want people to know it. Your ball python room. What is the correct temp that you keep it at?
I just did a blog post on this because I do get this question a lot. So go check out the blog for detail. But it depends. It depends on the time of the year. So during breeding season, I try to keep it a few degrees below 80. So I let it get a little cool, anywhere from 74 to 77. Um, in the summertime, after I'm done with my breeding, I crank it up slowly between 80 and I get it up to 82 for a couple of months. But that's what I do. That's the ambient temp. I don't mess with the hot spot. I leave the hot spot on same temp all year round.
Okay, I see that. And this is how he's doing it. I need to follow these what he's doing. Do it to be. You're gonna be successful. Now,
I would say this too. I would say ask, talk to other breeders, because what you'll find. I have friends and we all do things a little bit different. Like, for years I've been feeding my adults every week. Mark Mendick feeds his adults every 2 weeks. And that blew me away. And, I've known Mark, for years. And we talk all the time. So, and then I talk to some other breeders and they're telling me, yeah, they feed their adults every 2 weeks. So everybody is doing things a little bit different, just compare notes and, ask around. And it might be different for you depending on your climate and part of the country or the world that you're in. But that's how I do it.
I love it, man. I love it. Thank you for letting us know. Now, right now, I want you to talk about longevity. And I know you get this question a lot, but I don't mean for you. I mean for the newer breeders. I want you to kind of inspire them to where they don't get discouraged if they're not making that profit the first year, the second year, the third year. What do you think is a good goal line for them to reset for themselves to be profitable? Like, how many years do you think a new breeder should expect to not make any money? Should it be like 4 years, 5 years,
That's why
6 years?
that's why I love you, man, because you always ask really, really good questions. This is very, very, very important. So to all of you new guys that are starting out, stop comparing yourself to other breeders. Like, stop comparing your clutches to Justin's or to my clutches or whatever. You need to focus on improving yourself, because you could always get better every year. So if you just focus on where you're at now, and as long as you're making progress, I don't care if you're making head clowns this year. If you're making visuals the following year, you're making progress. So focus on your own collection, focus on your own monetary goals, whatever you want to make, in sales each year. Focus on that. And then take credit when you hit those milestones and you take it to the next level. Because this is a marathon. It's not a race. And the people who win are the people who are consistently growing and improving year after year after year. And if you stay focused on that, you'll be surprised at how fast your collection will grow and how powerful your genetics will become if you just stick it out and you stay consistent. So focus on your collection. Don't measure yourself against the next breeder. Just measure yourself based on what you did last year, and then set some higher goals the following year, and just keep pushing the envelope and just trying to get better and better every year.
I love it, man. Just awesome knowledge, man. I love it, man. Now, this is, like I said, for the new breeders. I want people to, get that knowledge. What do you think the proper way to select holdbacks is, and how do you select your holdbacks?
So usually all my pairings, I'm trying to make something for me to hold back. Like, that's my entire breeding plan. Is like, okay, the number one goal of my breeding plan is to make holdbacks for me. So, when I hit those hard to make genetics, I keep them, and I get people throwing money at me and I'm like, nope, like, yes, like, this animal is staying here. So I don't keep a lot of any one thing. Like if you look at my collection and you look at, if you guys watch my clutches and see me hatching stuff out, you'll see I'm not hatching out like 10 of the same thing. I might have 1 or 2 clutches of a certain project, but my projects are very, very diverse. So I just try to keep my holdbacks, diverse too in their genetics. I'm not keeping like too many. Like I'll keep backup males. You got to have backup males. But other than that, I don't like a lot of redundancy. And I also did a post on my breeding plans. Check out my blog, read that breeding plan, download that breeding plan spreadsheet. If it doesn't fit in a breeding plan, I sell it. So if it doesn't have a purpose, I sell it. And that's how I choose my holdbacks. You know what I mean? Like I'll give you an example. I'll have a Orange Dream Desert Ghost Het Pied, right? Orange Dream Desert Ghost Het Pied. In my mind, I want to replace that animal with an Orange Dream Visual Desert Ghost Pied. So I'm always trying to just like slowly upgrade my genetics every year. And, I call that the upgrade. I'm always trying to upgrade. And that helps me take my clutches to the next level year after year, And again, a YouTube video I did about the upgrade, it's the same thing. Again, I'm not measuring myself against Justin or measuring myself against, Mark Bailey or whatever. I'm looking at my clutches, I kind of quantify, I keep track of like how much my clutches are worth. Even if I don't sell the animals, I might hold back. I still calculate that how much is each clutch is worth. And I'm always trying to push that. I want to be boutique, So 50K clutches all day long. If I could do 50K clutches all day long, bro, set for life.
You hear me with it?
For life, yeah.
You hear me? This ain't Walmart. This Gucci and Louis Vuitton over here, baby.
I'm trying, man. I started out in Walmart though, so it's all good. Man. Yeah,
I love it, man. Now your snakes, man. They are insane, man. So this is more so for me, man. I want you to be honest, man. Like, have you ever had seller's remorse where you're just like, shit, I wish I didn't sell that?
Yes, all the time. Yeah, all the time. Yeah, I sell a lot of good stuff every year. But definitely, like I've sold males and then I had clutches hatched from those males. And I'm like, oh, man, like I can't believe I sold that animal. Sometimes they're carrying another gene or sometimes the combo that I never did it before. So it's a new combo. And if I still had that male or that female, I would have did the same pairing again the following year. But yeah, all the time. But it's all good, man. I've sold females that didn't go, that shipped them to the customer and then they ovulated at the customers. But it's all good. At least I don't have customers complaining. So
and I'm gonna let you go because I know you're busy and I ain't gonna keep you too long. But I told my wife I wanted to be a snake breeder, and she supports everything I do. But she told me no. And the reason she told me no, she's right. She was like, Derek, you can't be a snake breeder. I said, why? She said, because every time you have a snake, you're just gonna keep it. And I was like, yeah, you're right. You're right.
Yeah,
I'm keeping every clutch, every snake. Nothing's going out. We ain't gonna make no money.
Yeah, if you're a hoarder, definitely. I've never been the hoarder type. I've been more of a collector. I mean, more of a breeder rather than a collector. So I'm pretty ruthless about that. I mean, yeah, you got to be willing to let go. You got to stay focused. Yeah.
I love it, man. We have got so much knowledge tonight, man. I just appreciate you. Now, I want you to talk about new breeders. Do you think when they're coming into the game, they should focus more on powerhouse males or powerhouse females?
You shouldn't focus on powerhouse males unless you have some females to put that powerhouse male to. So the value of a male is different depending on what females you have to breed to it. So that's why like a lot of people will go on MorphMarket and they'll be like, $20,000. No way. I'll never pay $20,000. But if you had the right group of females, that animal is worth $20,000 all day long. So it depends, right? So, of course, females take longer to get up to size. So get your female game set first, and you can go out and get relatively inexpensive females and get them up to size, and then go buy that powerhouse male and breed it to, like, 5 or 6 females. So that's the way to really get that bang for your buck.
I love it, man. I love it, man. Now this is more so just for fun, man. I feel like in this hobby, man, you gotta have that passion. You gotta have that excitement. Once that excitement leaves, you're not doing it for the right reasons. So this is
Yeah.
kind of like a hot seat question, man. You have constant clutches hatching. You have hatchings all the time. So I want to ask you, man. Can we get that pit face? And what I mean is, what's the face you make when you go into that room and you see snakes coming out of eggs? It's like,
Yeah,
what
my
I got
eyes.
now.
See how wide my eyes are?
I love it, man. You,
That's
you
the
gotta get
reaction I'm trying to get.
you gotta get excited every time that snake comes through the egg. You gotta be, what is it now?
Yeah, it's definitely exciting. It's always exciting during hatching season. It's very tiring too, but yeah, it's a lot of fun, man. It's a very rewarding hobby, and so try to produce really cool, unique stuff. I think everybody realizes now, it's better to be a boutique breeder rather than just producing average stuff. You want to produce some really cool stuff. And when you do, I mean, that stuff flies off the shelves. So,
I love it, man. I love it, man. Now, before you go, man, because like I said, I know you're very busy, and I appreciate you, man. But I gotta ask, man. So shout out to Miguel, man. We love Miguel. He sells all kind of celebrity snakes. Now, my question to you is, if and I'm not saying you, whenever you do it, if you could sell any celebrity in the world a snake, who would it be?
wow, man, this is some tough questions, man. You got me thinking. Damn, who would I sell a snake to?
It could be anybody: Denzel, Oprah, Jerry Springer, Mariah Carey,
I would,
Halle Berry.
I would love to sell a snake to Miguel.
That would be fire. That would be fire. Yeah.
No, I'm
I
just
love it,
kidding.
man.
Like I really, I don't know. I never really thought about that. And I mean, it'd be cool to meet Ozzy Osbourne. I know he went over there and sold Ozzy Osbourne granddaughter a snake. Yeah, that'd be awesome.
I would like to see you sell Denzel Washington a snake.
Yeah, that'd be a cool experience for sure.
I
No doubt.
love it, man. I love it, man. Now before we go, man, we gotta end on a funny note, man. This is the last question. You've been in the hobby for years. And you went to lots of reptile expos, and I ain't gonna say who told me this, but you already know. Somebody told me this funny story. This guy, he killing it, he's crushing it in the game. He was buying, $500 drinks for everybody at the table, killing it, man. I said that dude is a legend. I ain't gonna say who it is, but I said this dude is a legend. So I say that. I say that to say, give me a funny reptile expo story, man. I know you got one. You've been to so many of them.
Oh man, I don't know, man. There's a lot of stories. Some of them may not be appropriate to talk about online, but yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know who that guy is. $500 drinks, man. I want to hang out with him.
I
But
said,
yeah,
I
but
said,
yeah,
this dude is an icon.
expos are always a lot of good times, man. I've had a lot of good times. I don't know that I have any funny stories off the top of my head.
Okay,
Yeah.
well, I'm gonna give you a different one. Last hot seat question before you go. Now this is hard, and it could be anybody. Right now, hot seat. Who is one of Ozzy's favorite breeders? We love
Wow.
everybody, but who is one that you just really like? You just really enjoy?
I have a lot of admiration for a lot of guys in the industry. I really, really love what Justin did with the game. And I just like the stuff that he produces always blows me away year after year. But man, Justin, Mark Bailey, Mark Mandic, those are some of the top dogs in my eyes. So, and then of course the OGs that started the game, Kevin and Ralph Davis and those guys, Tracy Barker. So
I love it, man. I love it. Well, Mr. Ozzy, man, I want to say thank you. You didn't have to do this, but you gave me an opportunity, man. So thank you. Tonight was fun. Nothing but knowledge and fun, man. So thank you so much, bro.
You're welcome, D.
I'm gonna let you go. You have a good night, sir. I thank you so much.
I'll talk to you soon, man. You gotta come out to DC. Come hang out.
I'm planning on. I got to do a Rude Dog did.
Yeah, yeah, no doubt. I'll buy you.
You have a good night, sir.
All right, take care. Bye.
All right, man. Awesome podcast, man. We just had almost an hour with Ozzy Boids, man. That was just a fire round too, man. And I want to thank him. Thank you to everybody that super chatted. Miss Trish, Fungus Queens, whoever else that I missed. Thank you. Thank you to everybody that showed up. Man, just a amazing episode full of knowledge and fun, man. That's what it's about. Come, this is a place where you can come, have fun, get a little knowledge. You take that with you. You leaving with something. So, Derek, I'm gonna go to DC. I'm meeting up with you afterwards. Dude, just super fun, man. Thank you to the channel members, and of course, everyone that sponsors the channel. Please go check them out. Ozzy Boids, Venom-Proof Cages, Redline Science, the Reptile Report. Everybody, balls to you, man. Reptile Feedings, I love you, man. Everybody, thank you so much. One more thing too, before we go, a couple people in my reptile community is working towards getting monetized. So please go check out KY Constrictors. Please go check him out. He's trying to get his hours. He wants to get monetized. So please go check him out. Shout out to everybody in the chat. Reptile Feedings, Kurt Wood, Craft Brew. Go check out Ledka, Iron Dog, My Animal House. Just so many people. Venom Wonderful. Cold-Blooded Monstars, Eric B, everybody in the chat, man. Much love, man. I love all y'all. Until next time, man. This is Big Reptile Talk, and we out of here.
You don't start things and not finish them. You don't quit. There's nothing that comes out of quitting besides knowing that you didn't finish. We finish everything. You start it, finish it. If you're going to do it to try to be the best. Not to be better than other people, but to be the best for you. You grind hard so you can play hard. The work you put in will pay off. It could be a year, it could be 30 years, but you keep grinding.